players out there, whether it's Hulu or Netflix Box or Foxy or whatever comes next. Do you think that the facilities-based providers, whether it's the cable company or satellite company or telco, do you have an inherent advantage over those types of plays?
We do. We clearly do. And I think it's multifaceted. If I put the consumer first, the consumer is paying for the content today. And the consumer does not expect to have to pay for the content a second or third time to see the same content on a different device. So if you do really meaningful consumer research, there may be one or two very big brands that can go out there and successfully set up a different channel. But at the end of the day, the consumer is making a decision about their wallet and how they invest that money. And I think if I take it back 20 years, 25 years, HBO was successful at setting up a subscription service in the cable world. But there aren't that many subscription services that have managed to thrive on top of the packages that the MSOs have built. Now that is not because of the distributor. That's the consumer appetite for paying for single brand subscription. And you have to be really good at it. So people might be putting business models together to talk to a VC firm to get backing for a video channel, but you have to be pretty good at the marketing side of it and consistent delivery of high quality content that's going to cost the business a significant amount of money to actually break through with that model. So if you think about the consumer wants everything to be easy. They would really like to have multiple devices in the home. They'd like a very clear way to be able to pay for a content package and be able to distribute it on any device. Because if they pay once, why shouldn't they be able to see the content regardless of device? So I think we have an advantage that's often undersold compared to any company that does not have a direct relationship with the consumer. There are a lot of really strong CE manufacturers selling some pretty powerful devices out there, but they lose the relationship with the consumer the minute they sell that device. The cable company has the established relationship. We're in the home. We're the call center they call when their Microsoft software collapses on their computer. We're the call center they call, and Roger lived this in cable for a very long time. They call us when they have any problem in the home, even if we don't create the problem. And that's a really powerful relationship to have. So think about the service piece of it as devices become more complicated. And this rang true to me when the Google phone was not working and no one knew who to call to complain. There's really a unique relationship that we have for the devices that the consumers have in the home. 2, think about content packaging to really proliferate. 3, I think what's flourished and what the MSOs will continue to be able to do is we have supported the growth of more niche content, professionally produced niche content, whether that's multicultural, whether that's thematic, that appeals to a very small audience. But that audience, the quality of that content has been extremely high because of the way we package content for the consumers. I haven't yet seen a model on broadband where the packaging of content benefits the consumer and benefits the growth of original content in categories of content. It could be niche sports, niche, the History Channel, it could be niche, we have a Russian network, New York City has a large Russian community. We have Asian networks. The development of that content would not be as successful from a monetization point of view if they were independent, fighting for themselves and trying to get awareness in a broadband environment. So that's a pretty significant challenge to overcome.
But that was true, historically speaking, yes. But
it hasn't changed.
If you're a weather channel and you're BET, so yes, in most cases the MSO has a relationship with the consumer, but I'd like to state that,
So I'm not saying we have the only relationship. That's not what I'm saying. And I think we're the brands that have been really successful at windowing and creating meaningful content for other devices, they're not replicating what they're doing on TV. Right? They're really being clever about what do they need, what does it look like, how do we deliver the service. So you have models that are working. So, but if you take the, there's also degrees of expense in producing content. I don't know your business line. But I would think the Weather Channel, the production of content, is not as expensive as producing original programming, daily, weekly, with major series to compete with the best programs on air. I mean, the cost differential has to be pretty significant. So there will be types of content that will benefit from the way we package to consumers. And there'll be types of content that will flourish across multiple platforms. But the last thing I want to say, which is a really big issue, for broadband delivered video, for professionally produced video to work for any established content partner, the measurement has to change. Because realize, in the world of digital cable, what we've seen is we have some really incredible digital networks that we've been able to launch that do not get their fair share of advertising dollars because Nielsen doesn't measure them. So think about that. If we're actually going to proliferate and the content is going to be even more fragmented, not just within the TV ecosystem, but across devices, if there isn't a way to measure those networks are at greater risk, okay, of not being able to get ad dollars that are premium rates, and then their ability to produce quality content is in jeopardy. So there will be different companies that can survive because they're large, their content channels are very established, and they are measured, but the ones that are unmeasured are going to really struggle at being able to deal with fragmentation without a solution to the measurement problem.
Scott, in your organization, and I think